Good.
Good.
All right. Wanchans are here. Where are we on their case?
$3,023.80. At the last court date, they had made a payment of $1,000 and they were still awaiting the final approval from the Ann Arbor Housing Commission. I'm not sure if they've gotten any updates from them, and I'll also ask Patty, who has signed in. Patty, have you heard anything from the Housing Commission?
Just that what the Wanchans had sent me, which was that they were approved. I am looking at my emails now to see. Actually, yes, just a few minutes ago, the housing authority did just send me the check for $2,992.80. I will be able to apply that to their ledger.
So they sent you a check.
$2,900.
$92.80. It's like a wire that's a direct deposit, so I just get an email.
Okay, so give me
I'll give you the bottom
3023.
line, Your Honor. The difference is $31.80. Oh, no, I'm sorry, $31 even, I believe. Hold on.
$31 even.
Yep.
Okay, you two.
I'll go to the bank today.
You'll go to the bank today. You'll get that paid.
Yeah, well.
And Your Honor, I would suspect that Patty would have no issue with them paying that along with their March rent and
So we
dismissing
could
the
dismiss.
case at this point, because I don't believe, we don't have a judgment on it. We could dismiss the case and they agree to pay that with their March charges.
That work for you?
Yes, it works.
I am. You guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dismiss the case without prejudice. Make sure to pay that 31. I'm going to miss you guys. I really am. You guys always show up and you just are trying to get through it. And you weren't so hopeful the very first time you were coming in as to how this was going to work out.
Well, we can always come back and visit.
Pardon?
We can always come back and visit.
Okay, all right. I will be more than happy if you do. All right, you guys take care of yourselves, please. All right, this case is dismissed. And take care of your family, please.
Thank you.
All right, take care. Spice Tree Apartments versus Affolashade Lawal. I think I got that. I messed it up, didn't I?
It's okay.
What?
I said it's okay. It's Affolashade Lawal.
You just said your name?
Yes.
Really? Slow that down. What'd you say?
Affolashade Lawal.
Okay. I don't know that helped me, but all right. What's owing on this account?
Your Honor, this is actually defendant's motion to set aside a default judgment. The judgment entered, Your Honor, on February 17th for $382, and I believe that's the balance that remains today, but let me verify with the ledger that I have. No. Your Honor, it looks like we did request an order of eviction on this, and there may have been, so we've got her at $616.
616, that's yours?
Yeah, that includes charges relating to the order of eviction, Your Honor, that was sought.
All right.
Good morning, Your Honor. So I don't understand why I'm in court first, because they sent me a docket for November rent. I do not owe November rent. My rents are current. However, they told me on the 14th of January, I paid my rent, including the first late fee. I told them that I'm okay paying the first late fee. So I paid the first late fee because I'm a PhD candidate and my funds come internationally. So due to the holidays, I was able to get my fund late. So I paid the rent on the 14th of January, including the first late fee. So on the 15th, the payment was made on the 14th before the 15th. So on the 26th, I received a call from James of Spice Tree. He told me I have a $282 balance on my account. And I requested for the breakdown of this amount. And he told me that it's a $182 court fee and a $10 late fee. So I asked, okay, can you guys give me a one-time waiver for this late fee? The request was declined, right? So I requested for the official court receipt for the $182 because I paid on the 14th. So he told me, oh, we filed the case. I asked him, when did you file the case? He told me they filed the case on the 6th of January. And I said, okay. He sent me the ledger. I sent the ledger back to my funders and said, this is what happened because you guys disbursed for me late. I have a pending amount, so you guys need to send me $282. So they declined. They said the ledger wasn't allowed, that they need an official court docket. So I came to the court to ask for these details. They told me this case was filed on the 20th. I paid my rent on the 14th. I went back to my rental contract. There is no way on my rental contract that says that they are going to charge me $182 on the 14th of January, even though I paid my rent on the 14th of January. And ever since then, even though this case has been in court, I've been getting harassing messages, and I've also been getting tags on my door that I'm late on rent, even though I'm current on rent. All I requested for, without the additional late fee and all the multiple late fee that they have been adding onto it, is that give me a receipt of the court fee that you paid to the court on the 14th of January. Because as per the court, I came to the clerk, I went to the court clerk. This case was filed on the 20th of January.
Your Honor, the demand for possession was issued on January 6th, meaning that payment of the balance due was needed by close of business on the 13th. It was not made by defendants on statements. Our complaint is dated January 14th and would have been processed by our office and sent for filing with the court on that date. I understand the court may not have received it and processed it until the, I don't know what date the court marked it as received. I don't see a date stamp on here as far as the date it was received, but I see the date it was issued by the court was on the 22nd. And so these court costs were properly incurred. The payment was due by the 13th. It didn't happen. It was referred to us for filing, and my client did incur these costs to recover the monies that it was owed. So,
Your Honor, can I ask her a question, please?
Yeah.
Okay, so my question is, why was I filed for the 20th of November if you guys were not trying to represent in the court? Because here it says, it says that I'm current up until 30th of November. That's what it says in the initial filing for the non-payment of rent.
In this case?
Yes.
and Your Honor, I can explain she's
You
referring
mean
to
the pro rata amount on the complaint?
yeah. So Your Honor, she's looking at the date under 5C, rent is paid through 11/30/2025.
Yeah.
And the way that calculates, Your Honor, is it looks at the total balance due, and if it exceeds however many months of rent, then it dates it back because there are additional amounts owed over and above just the base rent of the $1,500. That being utility charges that are charged and metered based on usage, trash fees. So those additional charges put the balance due over and above what would have been, in this case, presumably the January balance. And in looking at the ledger, Your Honor, we verify if she was paid, in fact, through December at the time the case was filed. And she was, Your Honor. So my client was not seeking anything over and above that, but at the time the case was filed by our office, she did still owe the January charges, late fee, and then the court costs were incurred by my client.
Your Honor, I also have the ledger here, and as that the 16th of January, my balance stays at $282.42, which is the court fee and the late fee that they charged me on the 16th of January. That's what the ledger says here. So how come if it's on the 16th of January, my balance says $282.42, and you are filing in court that my balance is $1,570. $1,570. I also have the ledger here.
Your Honor, I can look at the ledger and say, yeah, that's what it says on January 16th, but on January 14th, the balance was, in fact, $1,856.40.
I paid my rent on the 14th of January.
Do not yell.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
When they file and sign the complaint, what they alleged to the court at the time of the signing was what was owed on the ledger. You're expecting, in both things that you said, you're expecting the number to somehow change between the time that the plaintiff files it and the time that it gets to the court for filing.
Okay, Your Honor.
The only thing that's required is that the amount or the information that's contained in the complaint is true at the time that it's signed by the attorney's office. And in each of the instances that you're bringing up, it's true.
Your Honor, so if that's the case, if they are alleging that it's on the 1st of January, then the balance, so if they're alleging that they filed on the 14th of January, then the balance should be 1,674. That's what my
If
account
they
says.
file it on the 1st of January.
Yeah, if they filed on the 1st of January, like if they filed before then. So because my balance, my closing balance is $150 on the 5th of November, on the 5th of December, right? And on the 1st of January,
Now,
I have.
what do you want to have happen here?
Okay, so what I requested for is that I just want them to give me the receipt dated on the 14th before I paid that it was filed on the 14th.
I mean, before you pay the court costs?
Before I paid the rent, because I paid the rent on the 14th.
You want the receipt on the 14th?
Yes. Like, because I need to get this money reimbursed back to me if I'm to pay. And they say
Money reimbursed back.
okay, so they're saying that okay, sorry, I'm gonna come again, Your Honor. I'm really sorry. So I paid my rent on the 14th of January. And they are telling me that I paid my rent late on the 14th of January. So I'm going to be charged $182 for the court fee. When the court,
you're being charged a court fee because if those things cross in the mail, they cross in the mail. Quite frankly, and I don't say this to people, but you're trying to argue some timing technicality, which doesn't make any sense to me. Because the cold-hearted reality is, had you paid your rent on the 1st of November, or 1st of January, we wouldn't even be here. We wouldn't even be arguing about it.
yeah, Your Honor, I paid, that's why I paid the late fee. Because I understood the late time.
Right, but you can pay the late fee, but the plaintiff has the right to pursue whatever they can pursue in court and need to protect themselves.
Yes, but according to the contract, they told me that I should pay before the 14th and then the late fee will apply. Your Honor, I paid this from my pocket when I had additional job. But right now, the only fund I have is for my funders. So I do not have additional income to complement this. I'm okay paying all of this. But if my funders tell me we need these papers so that I can get this money from them, that's all of from my fund. I'm a PhD candidate at the University of Michigan, and I get my funds from an international organization that is paying my living allowances and my rent.
And Your Honor, if I may, just to touch on one thing, the defendant indicated that they told her to pay before the 14th, which is accurate. If she had paid before the 14th on the 13th, when the demand expired and required payment by, we also wouldn't be here today. The issue is that she paid on the 14th, which is not before the 14th. Your Honor, with respect to this, the judgment that has entered in this case should be sufficient for her to take to her fund and say, the court has ordered me to pay this. This is the funding I need to be reimbursed so I can have the rent cured and my housing housing remain in good standing. I don't know what sort of receipt could otherwise be provided, other than, a judgment that acknowledges what's due and owing in order to satisfy the balance owed to Spice Street. Because
on the judgment, this says I have late rent. So nothing on the judgment says that I'm paying late fee. Because to them, they are saying it's late rent I stated on this judgment. I sent this to them.
Sent to who?
I sent it to the company that funds my research.
Okay, and they won't pay it?
Yeah, they are telling me that they need to see that this was filed on the 14th, because I sent the rental contract to their lawyers, and they're like, okay, you explain to us that if this is late by by the 6th day, because the guy called me on the 14th and he told me, you need to pay this by card, because if you go pay by money order, it's going to be delayed. So that's on the 14th morning. So on the 14th, I got back from school at around 8 p.m. ish, and I paid it immediately because he said, if I do money order, it's going to spill to the next day, which is going to be 15th. So I went to like make sure that I paid it on the 14th because it called me on the 14th in the morning of 14th.
And Your Honor, the complaint is the date of that. It says January 14th is the date that the case was processed for filing. That's the only receipt that can be provided to her as proof that legal action was pursued because the payment wasn't timely made. That in conjunction with the judgment should be sufficient for that. I mean, the judgment in and of itself is an order of the court saying it has to be paid.
That was sufficient, but when I sorry, excuse me, that was sufficient, Your Honor. But when I requested from Spice Tree.
Okay, but hold on a second. The issue here doesn't have anything to do with Spice Tree.
He has everything to do with me.
Pardon?
It has to do with me.
I know. So I'm not sure. Spice Tree, everything has been done properly. The fact that, and I don't know what to tell you, the fact that they won't reimburse that, because I don't know what math they're doing. But it would seem to me that if they reimburse your housing costs, if you got a ledger and sent it to them, that should tell them.
Yeah, because I told them, they said a ledger does not constitute that the case was filed in court. Because I'm having like this back and forth with them also.
I hear you, but I don't know what anyone can do for that. Because you have there's the complaint that was filed. And on the 14th, what's stated on that complaint is that balance. Now, there may have been the crossing of the amounts, but I don't know why they won't pay it. But that doesn't seem to be Spice Tree's problem, quite frankly, as I'm listening to it. And
Yeah,
to be honest with you, not the courts.
I get it, because I think the problem with them is the fact that they are feeling like the papers I submitted is inconsistent with the information Spice Tree is giving me. Because Spice Tree told me this case was filed on the 6th, right? That was the email they sent to me.
No, the notice you get a demand to pay on the 6th. If you look at your paperwork.
Yeah, I did. I got a demand to pay on the 6th. So that was why I
It expires on the 13th, which is why you need to pay before the 14th. And on the 14th, they proceeded with the balance that was due and owing at the time. So why these people won't do something, I don't know. And I'm not going to order the plaintiff to do something, which is not what the plaintiff, they did everything correctly.
Okay, so I'm just going to request from them if they can send me like an email that says like, this is the actual amount or something. And like as part of the
actual amount of
like of the $282 and the date they filed, if they can give everything to me.
You got a judgment.
Yeah, I sent the
382.
Yeah, I sent the judgment to them, and they still said the same thing.
I don't know what you want me to do. They're
Okay.
not under the jurisdiction of this court. That you got a judgment. The judgment says this is what you owe.
Okay, I would proceed with the payment of the judgment.
Pardon?
I would proceed with the payment of the judgment then. Because they are just giving me a lot of it's a back and forth with them.
Okay, but I can't do anything with it. So you're going to, so you filed a motion to set aside the default. When I look at everything, you haven't stated the basis to do that. The motion to set aside is denied and the judgment will stand. What I'm going to suggest you do is pay off the judgment and then deal with those folks. But there's nothing, I'm not going to order Spice Tree to do something that they don't need to do. And I can't just order people to do stuff.